This conference will now be recorded.
So today let us go with the next part of Angular and the last part of Angular and last day of our course, where we are left out with Angular HTTP client module. Very important module and very simple. The main use of going with this Angular HTTP client module is Angular HTTP client module is used to invoke the services which are running on server side. Like it may be with Java technology, it may be with the .NET technology, or it may be with PHP technology. So if you are having some services running on some server, if I want to invoke that services from Angular, we make use of this HTTP client module. How to use this? Just we have to create object of HTTP client. For this HTTP client class, just to create object. So by using this object, using get method, we can invoke the service running on Java server. Like example, this is the API. This is the API which is running in Java server, and this API is going to return the list of employees present in employee table. Present in employee table, it's going to return the list of records. That records we get it into Angular, and Angular will take care of doing the presentation part. Right? That's the main objective of this. Now, let us go with the application. Only this much. If you remember this one, that's enough for us for interview time. How to invoke a service running on Java server or any other server side from Angular means by using HTTP client. Using get method, we can invoke the service. Only this much if you remember, it's enough for us. Now, let us go with the application now. Let us go with the application. The application what we are going to develop here, let us go with the employee table. So at the Java side, create this table, open MySQL, use Java 08, our database name, then create the table. So here we are creating table employee with the employee ID, name, designation, and salary. So it's already existing. Let me drop table employee. Let us create it again. So we are creating table employee with ID, name, designation, and salary. Now let us insert some records. Let us insert some records into the table. We are inserting some records into the table. So what we are doing, we started with the application where we are going to discuss about Angular HTTP client module. The main use of Angular HTTP client module is it is used to invoke the service running on Java server. So for that we have taken an example where we have created one employee table and we have inserted some records into the table. We have inserted totally 3 records. Let us create one new workspace in STS. So I'm going with the workspace name as Spring Angular. Let me choose the workspace. So in our folder, Angular, any workspace, it's up to you. So in that workspace, let us create one Spring Starter project, Spring Angular project. So in this STS, create one Spring Starter project. Let us go with the name, Spring Angular project, type Maven, Java version 8, and group, let me say here, Spring Angular. Package, it takes the name, sorry, our artifact, it takes the name. Package, let us go with the package name like com.css spring.angular. Click next. Here we need to add the project dependencies. Here we are going with the project dependencies like Spring Web. Next one, spring.jpa, then Lombok and MySQL. These dependencies we are adding and click on finish button. So just what we have done, we are creating one Spring Starter project. So first step, what we have done, we have created one employee table and added some records into the table, and we are creating one Spring Starter project and adding these dependencies. Now let us go with the project class. So create a project class employee. Under src main/java, we can see the package com.spring.angular. Create a new class employee. Now go with the properties. Private string employee ID, private string name, private string designation, private int salary. Apply the Lombok annotations. How to apply? No args constructor, all args constructor, data. Data is similar to setter, getter to string. Import the packages. So these are Lombok annotations. Right. Then now go with the Hibernate annotations. So to mark this class as the entity class in your database table, we go with the annotation entity and table. To change the name of the table, table, the name of the table is employee. And to mark it as primary key, id. To change the column name, column name equal to employee underscore id. So these are your Hibernate JPA annotations. Right? So clear with this class, all of you? The Pojo class. So whatever the code I'm discussing today, everything already we know. Everything we already we know. Only the new thing is Angular part. Now let us go with the next one. Let us create one interface, employee DAO. In com.spring.angular package, create an interface, employee DAO. Now make this interface extends JPA repository. So this is your JPA repository. And what is the entity class name? Employee. And the primary key data type is string. That's it. That completes our code. No need to put any methods inside the interface. So that is the main beauty of Spring Data JPA. Right? Just we have to take our interface name, extends JPA repository, provide the entity class name and the primary key data type. So in our case, employee ID is of type string here. Now, for the next step, let us go with the service class. Create a service class employee service. Right click on com.spring.angular and say new class employee service. Mark this one as a service class by using annotation @service. Now go with the method here. So here let us go with the property first, like employee DAO. We are going with a property and inject it automatically using which annotation @automate. So let us go with the method public iterable employee get all employees. When you call this method get all employees, it's going to return all the records of employee table. So which method we need to use in Spring.h API? Find all. By using this employee DAO reference, call the method find all. This method will return all the records of your employee table. That completes our service class. And next step, controller class, a REST controller class. We have to create REST controller compulsory because we are going to access this application from Angular. Angular is running in different server and our Spring application is running in different server. Both are different locations. So to communicate between the applications, we need to go for what? REST APIs. So for that, we need to go with REST controller class. Employee controller. This is the major important code. Right click on com.spring.angular, create a class employee controller. Now, how to mark this class as a REST controller class? @REST controller. Now we are having very important annotation. This is important and the new one today. We are going to get the request from where? From Angular. And Angular is running in which location? http://localhost:4200, right? So we are going to get the request from Angular running in which one? Port number 4200. So for this we have to inform from where you are going to get the request to this class, controller class. How to inform is using the annotation @cross origin. @cross origin, origins equal to provide the location. This is the new annotation. This annotation we should remember for intro time. Now, in order to enter into this class, we need to do the request mapping, where we are going with the mapping as API/employees. Go with the property employee service to invoke the methods of service class, inject it automatically. Now create a method get all employees list. We are creating a method get all employees list where we return employee service dot get all employees. So when you call the method employee service dot get all employees, it will go to the service class. This method will get invoked, which is going to return all the records of employee table. And in order to enter into this method, we do the get mapping. Since it is read operation, get mapping all employees. That completes our application here. What is the API to access this? API to access employee service. What is that? http://localhost:80/API/employees/all employees. API/employees will enter into this class. All employees will enter into this method. Right? Clear up to here, all of you? Any questions? Anyone? No. The next step, we need to go with the database connections. So for that, what we need to do, we need to update this application.properties file. Open application.properties file present in resources folder. Provide the details here. Spring.datasource.jQuery driver class name, that is that com.mysql.cj.jdbs.driver. Spring dot data source dot URL jdbc colon mysql colon / localhost colon 3306 / java 08, the database name. Next one, spring dot data source dot username root, spring dot data source dot password root. So these are 4 database connection properties. The next one, the JPA properties, Hibernate properties, spring dot JPA dot properties dot Hibernate dot dialect. It's a dialect org dot Hibernate dot dialect dot MySQL dialect. Next one, spring dot JPA dot Hibernate dot DDL dot auto update, because the table is already created. Spring dot JPA dot show SQL. These are your JPA or Hibernate properties. It completes our application.properties file. Now the project is ready. Now run the project. Right click and say run as Spring Boot app. So your Tomcat server started at port number 8080. Now the application is ready. Now come to the next part, Angular side. Angular side. Here we need to create a new component employee. How to create a component? At your terminal or prompt by using ng generate component. GC means generate component and the component name. Let me show this. At your prompt in your project, we have to use which command? Ng generate component employee. So when you press enter key, the employee component will be created. So already I have done this part. Let me open our folder in Visual Studio Code. In Visual Studio Code, under SRC, you can see the employee. Under employee, you can see the files. Employee.component.ts file, employee.component.html file. These two are the important files. I'll discuss these files again. I'll come back to these files. Next one. We need to update app.module.ts file by adding HTTP client module. So whenever we want to use this HTTP client module, we need to add this module in app.module.ts file like this. In app.module.ts file, add this line of code, HTTP client module. Under this imports, we need to add this module, which will do the respective import statement. The next step, create a folder service in app folder. We need to create a folder service. So create a folder service, this one. Create a folder service. Under that, create a file, HTTP client service.ts file. This is the major important step here. See here. So create a folder service. Under that, create a file, HTTP client.service.ts file. This one. This is the important code. Now see here. Here, create a class employee with these properties: employee ID, name, designation, salary. Now, create a class HTTP client service. I'm going to, these all are user defined only. Create a class HTTP client service. In constructor, go with the property, create an object of HTTP client. So here HTTP client is mainly used to invoke the service running on Java server. So create object of HTTP client. In the method getEmployees, call the method by using HTTP client object. Call the method get and invoke the service running on Java server. So when I invoke this service running on Java server, this is the one I've already mentioned. No, this is the one. Okay, same service here. So when I invoke this service, what it is going to do? it is going to connect to the employee table and it's going to pull out all the records of employee table. So whenever you want to invoke a service running on Java server or any other server, what we have to use? HTTP client. Using get method, we can invoke the service. Now what this is going to return back to us? The employee records. What are the employee records it's returning? I'm storing into this employee array. I'm storing into what? Employee array. So that's the main role of get employees method of HTTP client service class. Now come to this file, employee.component.ts file. Here we have taken the class employee component where we are creating one employee array. Employees is an employee array, and in constructor we are creating object of HTTP client service class, this one. For this class we are creating object of HTTP client service class. Then on initialization, on your Angular initialization, by using this object of HTTP client service, we are calling get employees method, this method. By using object of HTTP client service, we are calling get employees. What it is going to return? The response, what it is going to give? The employee array. This employee array contains all the records of employee table. That will come and store into response here. So whatever the response I'm getting, that I'm storing into this employee array. We are storing into employees array. Then now the data is present in this employee array. Whatever the records present in the table, now the data is present in this employee array. Now go to your HTML file, employee.component.html. I want to show the employee data in tabular format. So we are creating the table with the headings, ID, name, designation, salary, and we are traversing your employee array. For every record, you are creating a row, traverse your array. Star ng for let employee of employees. So it's going to pull out one employee from this employee array, stores into employee, and I'm just printing the value. Employee ID, name, designation, and salary. So this piece of code is doing the presentation part where it is going to display the records of our table in tabular format. Clear all of you? No need to remember the code. Understand the code. That's enough. Just understand the code. Keep all the documents handy with you. Okay? Right. Now, the next step, the last step, update your app routing module.ts file. App routing.module.ts file. It's a predefined file where here we have to go with constant routes path. It's an empty path component, employee component. So when the application gets loaded, it should load your employee component. That's the meaning of this. Then, next step, run your project. How to run? ngserv. After successful compilation, open your browser and type the URL http://localhost 4200 here. So these are the records we are getting from where? From your employee table. So what are the records we are having here? That records it's showing here. Same records it's showing onto your browser. So to take the data from your Java site, with the data which is running on Java server, to invoke a service from Java server, we make use of which module? HTTP client module. Only this is the point you remember for intro time. This is important for intro time. Clear everyone? Any questions? Anyone having any questions? So I'll be sharing the codes to you. Complete Angular folder I'm going to share, app.zip file, complete Angular applications, app.zip file, and coming to Spring application, Spring Angular project.zip file. So I'll be sharing all the codes in the form of zip files. Right? So that's about from my end related to this Angular and Java codes, full stack Java codes. And the things which are left out from my end, is whatever the codes we have done from beginning, starting day one onwards, including demo, So complete codes, recordings, documents, programs, everything I'll be sharing in the form of zip file to you. Complete codes. So just to download that zip file, everything will be at one place for you. Right there. Next one, GitHub tool recording. So GitHub tool is a repository. Like when you are working in the projects, we work as a team, and our code need to be shared from one team member with another team member. That sharing of code we do by using GitHub tool. So just it's a common repository, a common place where we put our codes. So it's a regular routine work every day. How we work with mail, similar way you can use this GitHub tool. I'll be sharing that recording. You can practice it. It's very simple to work. Then one more important document I'll be sharing, Java related links. Java related links. So this document contains all the website links where you can enhance your skills. So completing Java is very, very difficult because of time constraints to us. And we need to enhance our skills more. So once we enter into the company, or when you are doing with the project, or to enter into the company, to enter into the projects, we need to enhance our skills. So to enhance our skills, I'm going to share this Java related links with you, where you can find some good website links and YouTube links where you can enhance your skills more. Then finally, mini project. So I'll be sharing one document, Spring Boot Angular CRUD application, complete CRUD application. The CRUD application is done with the Spring Boot, and the front end part is taken care by Angular. So by using this document, you can manage the application very, very easily. You can develop it very easily. Okay. So these 4 things are left out from my end. I'll be doing this by tomorrow evening. I'll be sending all these files by tomorrow evening. Right. So that's about from my end. So anyone having any questions?
Sir, is there any source we can learn cloud? So, like how much we need to learn cloud as a developer?
As a developer, cloud part is something around a basic idea is enough. A basic idea is enough related to cloud.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, hello Raj.
Yeah. Yes, Raviteja.
So, we'll be able to provide some sources to learn React